Hey guys, Frightener22 here, and welcome to my Cinema Sickness debut video. For today's video, we're going to be doing a review on a film that I just did a blind buy on last week, and I just got around to watching finally last night. So we're going to take a peek at Ron Howard's 1985 flick, Cocoon. Now, this is a film that I had been wanting to check out for a good number of years, and once the price dropped to a really reasonable number, I decided to do a blind buy on it. And I just got around to watching it last night, and for the most part, I really enjoyed this film. It's a really charming, magical film that has to deal with, aliens and just, making the most out of life no matter how old or young you really are. So, basically this film is about a group of elderly people that are holed up in a retirement home, and a trio of elderly men take it upon themselves to go next door in an abandoned house where there's a pool. So, over the course of some time, they start going into the pool, and then eventually some people rent out this house and start putting cocoons in the pool. And it turns out that the people that are taking over this house are actually aliens from outer space, and the cocoons that they're keeping in this pool are actually, aliens, alien friends of theirs that had been left on Earth many years ago, and they finally have come back to save them. So the thing with the elderly gentleman going into the pool is that it's kind of rejuvenating them. It's kind of giving them a new sense of life and this whole, very youthful energy about them. So it's something that they keep coming back more and more for. Now, the one thing that can absolutely be said about Cocoon is that it is director Ron Howard trying to do his best Steven Spielberg impression, and I mean that in the best possible way, because, this film came out in 1985, hot off the coattails, just a few years short of E.T., so obviously everybody knew what a huge box office blockbuster that was, and just how it captured the hearts and imagination of so many people, and Cocoon definitely kind of taps into that sentimental, kind of magical alien vibe that was presented in films like E.T. and, of course, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But what I really felt Cocoon is really like is that it's very similar to E.T. and Joe Dante's Explorers, which coincidentally also came out in 1985, meets Spielberg's Kick the Can segment from the Twilight Zone movie that was also made a few years prior to Cocoon. That's really the best way that I can kind of summarize this movie and kind of pitch it to people on what it really is like. And it's all good things, because Cocoon fits in really well with those other, wonderful, space kind of journey films. So this was a really good one. It's got a really fun cast, some really noticeable, 80s favorite actors like Steve Guttenberg, who's been, most famously known for the Police Academy series, Barrett Oliver, who, of course, was in Daryl. He's the original Sebastian from The Never-Ending Story, and he was also in the original Frankenweenie short that Tim Burton shot in 1984 for Disney. So, and then of course you also have Jessica Tandy, who a few years later would go on to star in Driving Miss Daisy. So you get a really great all-star cast of, fun people, a bunch of, older actors that, most of their names escape me now, but they really do a fantastic job in this film. So it's really a ton of fun. This film came, just a year after Ron Howard reached, a lot of success for his film for Disney, Splash. And, it was between Splash and Cocoon that he was really kind of get his stride in the directing game. He came off of Night Shift, went straight to Splash, and then Cocoon. So, Ron Howard was really making a name for himself at this point as a director, and it really just kind of went up from there. But overall, Cocoon is a really fun movie that shouldn't be missed. To be fair, though, it's not as classic or, simply as memorable as E.T., because, the reason that I really feel that way is that that Cocoon kind of stops itself from being as timeless as E.T., is mainly because it kind of dates itself. It kind of puts some, some really in-your-face 80s moments that are actually pretty funny and really charming. Scenes involving some of the elderly people when they kind of get like the rejuvenated youth that's escaped them and they go out to, a really current 80s club and one of the elderly people starts breakdancing in the middle of the club. Really, really funny scene, really memorable, but that's just something that really kind of dates it and kind of sticks it with a disclaimer that it's like, oh, that, fun, kind of cheesy 80s movie. But, that's not a bad thing. It actually adds to the charm of the movie. It just kind of stops it from being as, timeless and as classic as, E.T. has gone on to become. But that said, Cocoon is definitely a worthwhile film to check out from Ron Howard's directing, directed films. And, I would definitely chalk it up there, in the same vein as films like E.T., Explorers, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But, overall, it's a really fun film that definitely should be checked out. Well, that's all the time I have for you guys on this installment of my Cinema Sickness reviews. Come back again for some more good stuff, and I hope to see you guys there. Thanks for tuning in.